John, the securitisation sector has obviously been through a lot of ups and downs over the last few years. How would you describe the current state of the sector?
Well, it's been a fascinating change in that market because obviously since the credit crisis, lots of people got very nervous about those securitized areas, securitized products, particularly a result of the subprime problem in America, which then fed off into the CLO markets and all the problems that people had in terms of credit ratings. So what's happened, I think, has been an evolution in terms of some of the complex structures which have pretty much disappeared. We've now got much simpler structures in the market. And we started to get confidence coming back into the marketplace now, particularly in America, where in fact growth in this market now has been quite incredible in the last few months of the beginning of 2013. And we're starting to see that market develop again in Europe. It's driven, of course, by investor appetite. So this particular market is always determined by what investors are willing to buy in that market. And the fact that we're seeing yields on the AAA bonds now reducing means that investor appetite, obviously, is actually pushing that market. What you've got to remember about the securitization market is the complexity of the structures. Everyone seems to group it into one area in terms of securitization, and it isn't like that at all. What we've actually got is very discrete product areas that people are willing to buy, either in terms of the consumer ABS market, the residential mortgages, the commercial mortgages, or the loan market in terms of the collateralized market. And they're all quite different in nature. And those particular markets therefore have different characteristics in growth. And although the CLO market is actually growing very strongly, some of the areas in terms of CMBS, the commercial mortgage market, that isn't growing so strongly. The residential market has been growing strongly because of government support for those products, but that's starting to tail off. So the American support for that product is now actually starting to reduce, and in the European market, some of the support is reducing. So expectations are reasonably good in terms of some of those product areas. The other areas we still need to see some growth coming through, but they're all starting to come back again.
And what are some of the major topics and issues that you look at within the course?
Well, we structure it so that it actually targets the people who actually are interested in this particular market area, who come from a variety of backgrounds. So we get people who are coming from the corporate market, who want to know about the structure of how to put together a securitization program. We get people who are from the banking market, who are involved in terms of actually securitizing, selling those particular products. We get lawyers, we get accountants. We get quite a range of different practitioners who work in this market area. So we structure the program so that initially it gives them a good overview of all the range of products. We look at how to build a securitization structure, so how we warehouse those assets, how we put it together in terms of a structure, how we sell that out into the marketplace. We look at the rating agencies and their role in this particular market, which clearly has been under scrutiny a lot over the last few years and is changing. And we look at the regulatory processes and the way in which that's changing. Probably one of the key threats at the moment in this market is the way in which the regulators, who obviously got very nervous about this market after 2008, the way in which they've changed the rules to actually restrict some of the issuance. Now that's starting to relax a little, and we're certainly seeing that develop as a process, but there are still some significant problems there. And there are issues around taxation and the way in which tax actually impacts those structures. So we discuss those areas and how that market is going to develop. And I think generally people are more optimistic now in terms of the development of how that market actually will start to return to growth in the future.
And what would you say, John, are the real practical benefits one would gain as a result of attending the course?
I think it's the benefits of, first of all, actually understanding a broader perspective on securitization, because most people come actually with a very narrow perspective of this market. They don't see the whole marketplace. So we give them that view of the whole structure, taking them from the initial origination through the securitizing process out to the actual issuance to investors, and therefore they can see how it all fits together. But we also use lots of practical examples. So we actually use real cases so that we can actually go through securitized products one by one and explain to them the differences between all of those product areas.